Salute, BookTube. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Boy, what a wild couple of days it's been. Just my last video, I did a tag video called the BookTube Watching Tag. I was graciously tagged by uh, Jeff at Reading Still Matters. And the tag was called the BookTube Watching Tag. And it was a tag all about how you watch BookTube, where you watch BookTube, when you watch BookTube, why you watch BookTube, that kind of thing. Just focusing more on BookTube rather than reading. And one of the questions or the prompts was who was the first BookTuber you ever watched? And for me, it was Steve Donahue, who was maybe I think a lot of you know, uh, big time BookTuber, a social media influencer, uh, and I mentioned him, and I mentioned him in my video, and I didn't think he'd watch the video, but he did, and then he mentioned my channel, and that gave me a major signal boost. Boy, I tell you, these Gen Z influencers like Steve Donahue, they're powerful. If they shout you out, if they mention you, the signal boost is real. My subscriber numbers jumped, and I actually crossed 100 subscribers. So it's a major milestone for my channel. I'm very thankful to Steve, and thankful for all of you for subscribing. It's exciting times. Um, since I've reached 100 subscribers, and a lot of them are new subscribers, I thought I would just make a video just sort of introducing myself, but also shouting out other channels, but trying to mix the two and helping you understand who I am and what kind of reader I am, but also just discussing the books. I don't think now is the time to go through my whole history, but just show you some of the books I'm reading, want to read before the year is over, and then maybe I'll make a separate TBR for January 2026 and beyond. Um, so the I was tagged in that last channel where because the tag video that I made not only increased my subscriber count, the video itself got something like 270 plus views, which is by far the biggest view count I've got for any video. Um, so again, I wanted to thank Jeff at Reading Still Matters for tagging me. I also wanted to thank another channel who was he wasn't the creator of the tag. The tag was created something like 7 years ago by a booktuber who's no longer booktubing, no longer active. But the tag itself was regenerated by Mike at Bibliophile Bookscape. Again, I'll link Jeff's channel, and I'll link Mike's Bibliophile Bookscape channel in the description below. You should check out both their channels. They're great. Jeff reads a lot of history. Mike, well, both of them are eclectic readers. They do read nonfiction, but they also do read fiction. They're very eclectic and prolific readers. I'm mostly a nonfiction reader, mostly a history reader, for those who don't know. Um, but speaking of Mike, I wanted to give a special shout out to Mike at Bibliophile Bookscape because I watched his last one of his videos, his recent videos. He rounded up the best books he read in 2025. And of course, his channel was new to me, so I started watching his videos. But I especially want to focus on that video he made about his best reads for 2025, because it seems we have a reading connection. We sort of like similar books. Um, similar, there's definitely a similarity in reading tastes, because I think don't quote me, but I think he mentioned about 10 books, the 10 best books he read in 2025. I believe it was 10, but some of them are books that um, caught my attention, and I thought I'd discuss it. Um, one of the books he mentioned were his favorites for 2025 was the Goosebumps, the Scholastic R.L. Stein Goosebumps series. I think Mike and I are probably the same age, and so we probably have our childhoods were probably shaped the same way. I'm assuming that he read the Goosebumps books when he was a child. I think he mentioned that in his video, but apparently he read it again in 2025, and uh, he read in 2025, and the Goosebumps he listed as one of his favorites for 2025. So I just wanted to show. He actually posted two, or he showed three Goosebump books. I think the first three in the series. I have two out of the three. I have number two and number three. I don't have number one. I think number one was called um, Welcome Home, something like that, which I don't have. But then he showed number two in the Goosebumps, the R.L. Stein or Steen Goosebumps series. It's Stay Out of the Basement. He's got the exact same edition that I have. And he also mentioned his are worn out. Uh, Mine are too. Um, he also showed number three, which is Monster Blood. Again, he showed the exact same edition that I have as well. These Goosebump books I've had since I was a child. Again, there's a lot of new subscribers. Basically, my reading history, I began my reading career, my reading life as a young child reader. I was, I don't know, prolific isn't the right word, but I was a enthusiastic reader as a child. But once I entered teenagerdom, like junior high and high school, it was the years of wilderness. I just completely stopped reading. And then I picked it up again when I went into university. I went into college. The reading, I recaught the reading bug, and I've been reading ever since. 20 plus years now since I got back into reading. So these Goosebumps books I have since my childhood. These books must be like 30 years old, but I've kept them. And although I don't have the number one, the one that's called Welcome Home, I do have a whole bunch of other Goosebumps that I wanted to show. Um, I wanted to show. This is the number four. This one is called Stay Cheese and Die. Again, all of these are from my that I've preserved since my childhood. I've just kept them in my library. This is I have two copies of Say Cheese and Die. This one again, well worn, well loved, just like Mike's Goosebumps books. This one is number five, The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, um, and then it just gets random. Number nine, Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Phantom of the Auditorium. The Girl Who Cried the Monster. Again, this shows you I have so many of them, and they're red. I mean, you can tell they're red. I mean, it doesn't show on camera, but they're well loved. Attack of the Mutant. Uh, A Night in Terror Tower. And then this is a separate series. This is the Goosebumps. Give yourself goosebumps. Readers beware, you choose the scare. And this is, it says here, choose from 20 different scary endings. And this is number three in that series, Trapped in Batwing Hall. So this one is a bit unique. Yeah, basically as it's mentioned in the cover, you choose your ending. Again, it's been over 30 years since I read it, but vague memories of this. And then I have some other. These are also from the Scholastic line, but it's not the actual R.L. Steen Goosebumps. It's more horror related though. The Ghost That Came Alive by Vic Kroom. Nice cover there. That's the Scholastic on the bottom. Another Scholastic horror, The Ghost in the Noonday Sun by Sid Fleischman. They're really cool covers. And then another one. I think these all they became popular when the Goosebumps series took off. This one is called "If You Want to Scare Yourself" by Angela Summer Bodenberg. Yet more. This one is by J.B. Stamper. It's called Night Frights. It's 13 scary stories, but it's a small book. Again, these are not even YA; these are like children's books. And then I think finally, this one, M.D. Spencer. It's called Shivers, The Haunting House. So yeah, I just wanted to show those Goosebumps book, as Mike had mentioned that Goosebumps was one of his favorites for 2025. Although again, I think he read them as a child and then got reacquainted with them in his adulthood. So that was it was interesting. The other book, one of the other books mentioned by Mike at his channel for his best reads of 2025, I think it was also a reread for him because these are also children's books. Very popular author. Um, he mentioned this one as one of his favorites. It's Roald Dahl's James and the Giant Peach. This is the cover edition I have. And he was speaking glowing, Mike was speaking glowingly about it. Again, it's been years, decades, and decades since I've read it, but maybe I should go back to them. He sort of encouraged me that maybe I should. One of the things Mike mentioned in his, actually now I do remember, in his video he mentioned that he didn't read Roald Dahl as a child. He's recently picked it up, and I believe the reason for that is because he's American. Um, and I think Roald Dahl was a bit more popular in the UK. He was a British author, so I think he was much more popular in Britain. Now, for me, I'm neither from the UK nor from the US. Actually, I'm from the United Arab Emirates, a country in the Middle East, and so I was neither nor British or American, but I did go to I went to English schools. That's why I speak decent English and I read in English. I do read in Arabic as well, but I'm much slower reader in Arabic. I prefer to read in English. Because I went to English schooling, it's more natural to me. But my elementary school where I started reading was a British school, so there was a lot of Roald Dahl there. Um, Here's other examples. This is another well-loved book from my childhood, Danny, Champion of the World, another Roald Dahl book. I might have more Roald Dahls. I might have the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Everybody knows that one, but um, this one I picked up recently again because I had mentioned Roald Dahl in my early channel, my early videos on my channel when I was trying to introduce myself. This one I found recently. And this is more Roald Dahl's autobiography, but again written for children. This is an anthology. It's both boy and going solo. So I think this is his memoirs as a child, and then his memoirs as he enters adulthood and joins the army, etc., or the Air Force, I believe, the British Air Force during World War II. So yeah, I'm again just like Mike, I'm a Roald Dahl fan. Although, unlike Mike, I was reading Roald Dahl when I was very young, again, because I went to a British elementary school. But I was lucky because the British elementary school, I got a taste of British authors, British literature, I guess, but also more American literature, because the Goosebumps was very much more of an American. The whole Scholastic series was American, so I got the best of both worlds. So I was very, very fortunate in that. Actually, I went to a British elementary school. I went to an American high school, and then I went to a Canadian university. So I got a nice mix of the I don't know what you call it, the Anglo-Saxon world, I guess. Although Canada has a strong French influence as well. But speaking of Goosebumps and horror. I had mentioned also in my maybe 3 videos ago, my December TBR, what I plan to read in December. What I was planning to read in December was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Sorry. This is also an anthology of 3 famous horror stories, horror books. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and then Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I was reading Dracula because Steve Donahue was doing a read aloud on his channel. It started in October. It was supposed to be for Victober. It was because Dracula is Victorian literature, and it was Halloween, so the spooky sort of spooky season. Steve, I believe, didn't finish his read aloud till November, end of November. I was traveling, so I couldn't continue it. So I'm still reading Dracula since October. I put it on pause, and I thought I'd read it in December and just get it done. Um, so I'm planning to finish up Dracula before the end of the month. Um, but then I also um, I was speaking to another BookTube friend, JJ. Her channel is called the Blacksmith BookTuber, or the Bookworm Blacksmith, I think is the correct. I'll link her channel as well below, just like I'll link the other people I mentioned. Um, Again, so I'm in the United Arab Emirates, which is the in the heart of the Islamic world. By the way, just before I continue, this anthology, this edition, this Signet Classic, is has a introduction by Stephen King. Just FYI, if you see his name there. Um, but I live in the heart of the Islamic world, so this whole Christmas season, holiday season that you guys, I see all the booktubers going on and on about. Uh, in the Because I think most of my viewers are probably American, maybe some Brits sprinkled in there. People from from infidel Christendom. Let's just put it that way. And you guys are celebrating this Jesus person. You kind of make a big deal about him. That's what Christmas is all about. But I don't know what Christmas is because it's just not really a tradition, just another normal day here in the Islamic world. So I don't know, like, is it appropriate to read horror during Christmas, during the Christmas holidays? But JJ, as I mentioned, she assured me that no, it's a thing. I think the tradition is you read ghost stories during Christmas. These aren't really ghost stories. Dracula certainly isn't a ghost story, but I said, okay, I'll read horror during Christmas. It's kosher to do during Christmas, so I'm gonna do that. But the other one, I think, because I've read Dracula before, this is the second time I've read it, and reading it for a second time, my I don't know, enthusiasm, my interest in it hasn't been as high as when I first read it. I enjoyed it when I first read it. This second time around has been a bit of a slog. I'm not enjoying it as much. I think just Dracula's been overplayed. There's so many movies based on Dracula, so much vampire sort of things. So maybe that's what's doing, not allowing me to enjoy it as much as I did when I first read it. But I do have Frankenstein here, and I've always been a bigger fan of Frankenstein than I was of Dracula. And so I'm thinking I'm going to read Frankenstein, or I was in my TBR video, I was debating whether I should read Frankenstein once I'm done with Dracula. And I think I'm going to do it because as I've been seeing a lot of booktubers and I've been hearing that there's a new Frankenstein movie that was created. I believe it's on Netflix. And I actually checked, and it is on Netflix. But I was worried that it would be on Netflix USA because again, I'm in the Middle East, and Netflix Middle East, Netflix Global differs from Netflix USA. So I wasn't sure if it was there, but I checked, and it's there. So the Frankenstein movie is there. So I think I'm due a Christmas reading of Frankenstein. I don't know how appropriate that is. And then I think I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm gonna jog my memory with the book and then watch the movie and check it out on Netflix. So I think I'll be reading Frankenstein as well in December. Hopefully, I still haven't started it, but there's a good 10 or so, 11 days till the end. I think I can do that before January. So I'm gonna add Frankenstein to Dracula. Um, and thank you, JJ, for being my guru, my Christmas guru, a Christmas advisor. Um, but then also now transitioning, speaking of books that have been adapted to Netflix movies or Netflix series. Um, there was another channel who, again, I'll link below. That's Jeff, the other Jeff at Jeff Reads History. That's the name of his channel. Jeff is reading this book, and I've mentioned it before. I mentioned it in my last video or two videos ago. Um, this book by Candace Millard. It's called Destiny of the Republic. And the subtitle is A Tale of Madness, Medicine, and Murder of a President. Jeff is reading this, and he had mentioned, well, actually, initially I had mentioned I strongly recommend this book. This is one of, I read this book a long time ago, maybe now over 10 years ago. When was this published? I don't think I read it on the year it was published, but I read it fairly early. Okay, this is in 2011. I probably read it a couple of years after that. But I remember enjoying this book a lot. And I know I do a lot of, I mention a lot of books on this channel. I do a lot of book recommendations and say, oh, this is really good or this isn't that good. But this, if I had to recommend one book in 2025, it's this one. And actually, JJ as well had mentioned it on her channel that she's picked it up and she wants to read it. And then Jeff mentioned it. And then Jeff mentioned, because I had mentioned that this book is so good, it's a history. It's a history of this president, this American president, this individual right there, James Garfield. But it was so good. I said somebody, and I mentioned this videos like in one of my early videos, one of my introductory videos, where I said this story is so good it would make an excellent TV series. And lo and behold, just in November, again, it's been created as a series on Netflix, and it came out in November. The name of they changed the name of the now I have to take it out. I should have prepared better. They changed the name of the series. It's not called Destiny of the Republic. I think it's called Destiny. I've forgotten. I'll link it in the description. I could look for it here on Jeff's channel, but it'll take a long time. But suffice to say that this book, I'm not surprised it's become a series. It was my idea. I wanted to copyright it, but somebody beat me to it. But again, I'm also worried. I was worried. I said I won't read this in December, because I was worried that the Netflix series won't be available on Netflix Middle East, but I checked and it's there. So I'm super excited about that. That might lead me to reread this. I don't know if I'm going to reread it in December. I don't know if I can finish it by December. It's not too long. Unfortunately, it's not too long. I wish it was longer. But maybe I'll read it, start it in December, and then try to finish it in January. We'll see. I'm thinking maybe on New Year's Day. I'll watch the series on Netflix. That'd be something nice to do on New Year's Day. Maybe I'll watch the series and I'll watch the Frankenstein movie. That's a nice New Year's Day plan. That's assuming maybe if I can finish this before New Year's Day. Let's see. I won't promise, but we'll see. But yeah, well, I'm such a boring history nerd that that's what I'd probably do on New Year's Day. Instead of partying until the sun rise, I'll probably cuddle with a cup of tea and watch my favorite historical drama. But anyway, that's something to do. But again, an excellent story, and it's been a while since I read it. But just to give you a little bit of a background, Garfield, what's his first? James Garfield, James A. Garfield was elected president. He was. Let me step back. If my memory serves correct, Garfield was a war hero. He had served in the Civil War with distinction, and he was much loved by his soldiers. That was his first qualifications for running for president. Secondly, he was a scholar. He was actually, before he was a soldier, he was a scholar. He was a prolific, prodigious student. He did really well. He was top of his class. Just a smart boy who became a smart man. Became, if my memory is correct, a teacher. But he had a stellar academic career. Then he served in the Civil War and with distinction and was much loved by his men. He had the rank of a he had a higher rank, if my memory is correct, but he led his men to battle and was very popular. And then he became a statesman. He got elected president of the United States, and he was so popular. He went to the convention. I think, again, my memory. I think it was there was an incumbent president. I think it was Rutherford B. Hayes, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, his term was ending, or he was unpopular, and they wanted to find a replacement. There was an election. I don't know if Hayes was in the same Republican Party, the Lincoln Republican Party, not the the Lincoln, not MAGA Republican, God help us all, but the Lincoln Republican Party of the 19th century. This is all the 19th century, just after the Civil War. Anyway, Garfield wasn't planning to be president. He had no ambitions to be president. He went to the convention, though, just to attend, I think, as a delegate. Again, I don't know U.S. politics that well, but he went to attend as a delegate. And there were a bunch of candidates on the stage, but the Republican primary voters, the caucus, were not happy with any of the candidates. I think Rutherford B. Hayes was a Democrat candidate, and they wanted a strong candidate to defeat him because he wasn't very popular. But the Republicans at the convention were not very happy with the choices. And then somebody in the auditorium, or it wasn't an auditorium, they were in some kind of room, shout out, "We want Garfield." And then a second person said, "We want Garfield." And then a third person, a fourth, and then by the whole room, the whole place just erupted. "Garfield, we want Garfield, we want." And he was like, "No, I'm not. I'm just here to observe. I don't want to." But he was swept up by the support, and they lifted him onto the stage, and he became the Republican nominee. And then he got elected president. He won. I don't know if it was a landslide, but he was very popular throughout the U.S. And he got elected president. And so he had the three things you need to be a great leader. He was a scholar, he was a soldier, and he was a statesman. All three. Very different to if we compare him to the current U.S. president, Donald Trump. Donald Trump he's not a scholar, he's not a soldier, and he doesn't have much of the characteristics of statesmanship. Donald Trump is very good. Donald Trump is a good social media president. He's good. If you've got your phone and you're scrolling and you're just scrolling and then Donald Trump comes up, he's good at social media clips. I'll give Donald Trump that. But then you watch his video and you laugh, and then you scroll to the next video. That's what Donald Trump is good at. He's mastered that, and it's taken him to the presidency. But Garfield, maybe who's the closest comparison? Maybe a Kennedy, just somebody who was smart, charismatic. And had he survived, I don't want to ruin the story or give a spoiler, because although this is a history, it really reads like a drama, like a novel, like a story. So I don't want to spoil anything, but it's on the cover: "Murder of a President." He's murdered, and it's unfortunate he was murdered, because had he lived, had he survived, he would have been one of the greats, most likely. Just his background, his qualifications, would have been one of the leading presidents, one of the top 5, maybe the top 10. Maybe the closest comparison, maybe a Kennedy, like John F. Kennedy, somebody like that. But alas, it wasn't to be. But again, looking forward to rereading this, looking forward to the series. And yeah. What else did we want to mention? I think that's it. The video's gone on to half an hour. I wasn't expecting this to go that long. Again, thank you to Steve for boosting me up to 100 subscribers. It might go down. I think I'm at 101. It might go back down to under 100, probably after this video. But I didn't want to wait. I wanted to make the video. I didn't know if it was appropriate to make videos on Christmas. Again, the Islamic world, we don't know what goes on in Christmas. What do you guys do in infidel Christendom? um, so I wanted to make this now, this video now. And I've been seeing a lot of this Christmas, like a lot of Christmas videos, a lot of Christmas advertisements, and it's a lot of snow and hot cocoa and hot and marshmallows and fir trees. Here in the Middle East, it's and Jesus was from the Middle East. There's no such thing as fir trees. There's very little snow in the Middle East. There's no fir trees. There are palm trees, and there's very little snow. There's actually sunshine. It's sunny, and it's actually quite warm in December in the Middle East. But anyway, I wanted to make this video early. Wanted to wish my viewers, who I believe are mostly from Christendom, I wanted to wish them happy holidays. I wanted to thank also the other people that I mentioned in this video, specifically Mike at Bibliophiles Bookscape. I'll link his channel. I wanted to thank Jeffrey Reads History for tagging me in that previous video that signal boosted me up to 100 subscribers. JJ, I mentioned JJ, thank her as well. And I also wanted to say happy birthday to Alex, another booktube friend. I just realized it was his birthday, so also happy birthday to him. But yeah, I'll wrap this up because it's gone over 30 minutes. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Welcome back to all my old subscribers, my regulars. I haven't forgotten you guys, although I'm a superstar now. I'll wrap this up. I'll say goodbye. Salute, BookTube.